Every day, the world consumes over 300 tons of caffeine, enough for 1 cup of coffee for every man, woman, and child. The world's largest buyer, the US, has to import nearly all of this because the coffee trees from which coffee is harvested only grows in an area called the Coffee Belt, which includes the area between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. The US is only the largest buyer because it is so populous. The most enthusiastic coffee drinkers per capita, however, are the Netherlands, Denmark, Norway, and the world champions, Finland, where they drink 3 times as much coffee as the average American. Coffee is grown in numerous countries along the Coffee Belt. Brazil is the biggest producer, producing around 33%. It takes approximately 3 or 4 years for newly planted coffee trees to bear fruit. This fruit, called the coffee cherry, turns a bright, deep red when it's ripe and ready to be harvested. The coffee tree does not ripen all its berries at the same time, so they need to be hand-picked and sorted. Once the beans are picked, processing must begin as quickly as possible to prevent spoiling. In wet method processing, the beans are passed through a pulping machine where the skin and pulp is separated from the bean. After separation, the beans are transported to large water-filled fermentation tanks anywhere from 12 to 48 hours in order to remove a slick outer layer of mucilage that is still attached to the beans. After this, the beans are rinsed and ready for drying. The pulped and fermented beans must now be dried to approximately 11% moisture to properly prepare them for storage. These beans can be sun-dried by spreading them on drying tables or floors where they are turned regularly, or they can be machine-dried in large tumblers. Once dried, these beans are warehoused in sisal or jute bags and are ready to be hulled, polished, and sorted. The hulling of the coffee is done by machines, which remove the parchment layer from the coffee beans. Then, any silver skin left on the bean after hulling is removed in a polishing machine. This is an optional process, but polished beans are actually considered superior to unpolished ones, when in reality there is little difference between the two. The coffee beans are then precisely sorted by size and weight and closely evaluated for color flaws or other imperfections. Once this is complete, the beans are ready for export. Finally, the beans are ready for roasting. Roasting transforms green coffee beans into the delicious brown beans that we purchase, either whole or ground, in our favorite stores. Most roasting machines maintain a temperature of about 550 degrees Fahrenheit. As moisture is lost, you hear the bean pop like the sound of popcorn, and a chemical reaction called pyrolysis takes place and the entire cellular structure of the bean is altered. Once the coffee beans have been roasted, the flavor can be easily damaged by moisture, light, and especially by oxygen. Therefore, roasting is generally performed in the importing countries because freshly roasted coffee beans must reach the consumer as quickly as possible.